Hello, sports fans. This is the Dog H. Weber with another edition of Weber on Sports Express. And do we have topics to talk about today? And basically, they're about Syracuse. What a devastating audio tape. Maybe to your ears they were devastating, but to my ears they were devastating with a capital D. That ESPN 45-minute tape involving Lori Fine, the wife of Bernie Fine, to me was just astronomical. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 14. The point I have here regarding the tape is I believe that this gives Robbie Davis some credibility. I had doubts before the tape. Now that I heard the tape, I believe he's got credibility. And yes, Jim Boeheim is center stage. A lot of people are calling for his ouster. In my view, Jimmy Boeheim, of course born in Lyons, New York, like the dog in 1945-ish, needs to do some explaining. He's got some planing to do. You know, Jimmy came out quite strongly saying that Robbie Davis and his stepbrother were money grabbers based on the Joe Pa Penn State situation. He said that their words were 1,000 lies. This is Boeheim speaking. I'm not making this stuff up. This is on the record. Now, of course, we have to look at the area of who approved the ball boy to make these away trips. I told you from the get-go that it's absurd to think that any college team would take ball boy or a ball girl on away trips. It just doesn't happen. They're home court, home field ball boys, not away ball boys. So what happens now? We've got to investigate further who approved this kid to make these trips. What's really centering on this discussion, Robbie Davis indicates in his discussion with ESPN, Mark Schwartz, that while he was on these road trips, he was on the bed of Bernie Fine. And he claims that Boeheim walked in the room and saw him on the bed, not once, but twice. What did Boeheim say? Never happened. Interesting to see what develops now. Will the paper trail lead to Boeheim? And if it does lead to Boeheim, will that mean the end of Jim Boeheim's career as basketball coach? That's a lot of if, and buts. Stay tuned. More to come out. The only thing I'm going to say about this investigation, my view is, listening to the tapes, it gives me a sense of credibility for Robbie Davis. Not a lot of it, but some sort of credibility, which I gave him none up until hearing those tapes. How do you feel about that? Boeheim may be in trouble. Well, switching subjects, staying with Syracuse, yes, another loss. SU looked listless. They looked like they were not even on the same field with Cincinnati. And oh, by the way, the Bearcats didn't have their starting quarterback. SU loses by 17. Horrible. The librarian, the moron, the guy that I think should not be coaching SU. I know you fans at Syracuse having a piece of peach at the varsity say, I'm all wet. Leave Marrone alone. He's the answer. I don't think so. They were 5-2. Now they're 5-6. Let me explain something to you. Again, tapes don't lie. A couple of weeks ago, Jimmy Senecropi heard the same thing from Marrone. He's going to work on 3 areas that bothered Marrone. Pass blocking, offensive line. People trying to catch the ball over the middle or even on the sidelines. He was going to work on that. And special teams, allowing the other team to make too many yards running up and down the field on punts and kickoffs. He failed miserably on point A, point B, point C. Need I explain to you folks, they looked miserable in all 3 areas. And these are the 3 areas that the librarian, the Wrigley Spearmint chewing gum Marrone, who in my opinion should be in a library, not as the head coach of SU. He is not the answer at SU as a football coach. They're 5-6. They got 1 game to go to become bowl eligible against Pittsburgh next weekend. Let me explain something to you other that you may not be aware of. Forget the BCS. They take the cream of the crop for bowl games. There's 30 other games that select. There's no guarantee, even if Syracuse wins, no guarantee, according to the media this morning, that SU will get a bid. Why is that? People who run bowl games want people that have a stirred up interest of, you got your program, you're looking good, you can sell tickets to the game. Syracuse, even if they win against Pitt, will be 1 up, 4 down the last 5. If they don't win next week, it's a non-factor because they won't be eligible. So don't get your traveling shoes on quite yet. Even with a win, there's a chance that SU may get snubbed. Because who's going to invite a team that's 1-4 in their last 5? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. You don't believe me? Look at the Final Four. Look at the NCAA March Madness. What do they tell you when they select teams? The final 10 games is paramount to that committee. Let me tell you something with football. It's the final 5 or 6 games that count. So SU, Marrone continue to struggle. I've said it from day one. He's not the answer at SU. And by the way, their coach Cincinnati, Butch Jones, did you see him on the sidelines screaming at people who made mistakes? He almost grabbed one kid by the helmet. That's what I want to see out of Marrone. You can't see it because he doesn't deliver that kind of coaching. What is that? What is that? That's not a head coach. You chew the butt off these kids that keep making mistake after mistake. Jared West can't catch a football. The offensive line can't block. Naismith looks like he's running around getting chased by 25 cops after burglarizing 4 convenience stores. That poor kid hasn't got any time to throw the ball. And the special teams were brutally bad. Marrone is not the answer. And you folks at Syracuse live in a fantasy world if you think he is the answer. By the way, boo today, NBA is back. Oh, I hated to hear there's an agreement. I hated it. But there's talking about starting up the season on Christmas Day. Bunch of overpaid prima donnas. It just tears my heart that they're going to be playing NBA basketball. Let's go to the MVP in the American League. I share opinions with you every week. You know you're going to get opinions on me. From me. I don't believe a pitcher should ever get the MVP. And yes, there's been a precedent. 1992, Dennis Eckersley got it. 1986, the Rocket Man, Roger Clemens. Justin Verlander gets it from Detroit this year. Phenomenal player. Personal opinion. 66-and-a-half-year-old dog believes the MVP should always go to a player that plays every day. Not a player that has a pitching routine today and he has 4 days off. Just a personal opinion. You may agree or may not agree. Let's move to NASCAR. The Busch babies, the duet, Kyle and Kurt, Crybaby International. They should open up a company, call themselves the Crybabies. They sent that worthless Kyle Busch down for ramming Ron Hornaday into the wall a few weeks ago. Good for NASCAR. What does Kurt Busch do? Post-Homestead, the final race when Tony Stewart became champion. What did he do? He gave the bird to a reporter as he pulled his car into the garage. The bird cost him $50K. That bird wasn't a turkey bird either. In my view, Kurt and Kyle Busch for 2012, if they come to the track with a frown on their face, suspend them for 5 games, let them sit out for 5 games just with a frown. Those two are worthless, crybaby, prima donna, spoiled brats. They shouldn't be part of NASCAR. They are ridiculous. NFL, the New York props knock off the listless, worthless Bills. How's your Bills fans doing? Make that 12 years without a playoff. It's official. They got no shot. They don't even have a tiebreaker from here to Des Moines, Iowa. Horrible, horrible. New England destroys Philadelphia. How about those Patriots? The Raiders, Dogs Raiders, looking good, knocks off the Bears. Tebow and his wishbone offense. I thought I was watching Texas. They knock off San Diego. San Diego takes their 6th loss in a row. How long is Norv Turner going to keep his job? And Pittsburgh edges Kansas City on Sunday night in a brawl. Give credit to Pittsburgh. What's up with Dominic Sewell? The kid out of Nebraska. Big contract for the defensive line for Detroit. He's got a problem. Set him down for the rest of the season. He's a dirty player. This kid slams people on the ground, kicks them when they're down. He shouldn't play the rest of the year. There's rumors that he's going to have 2 games off. Not enough. The guy should be sat down for being a dirty football player. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got this all off my chest. The Dog and Paulie, we're going to combine and talk about a whole multitude of issues. And you know, front and center will be Syracuse football and Syracuse basketball and Bernie Fine and Robbie Davis. Tons of things to talk about. Take care, everybody. As usual, it's been a slice. That's a look at sports my way.